Good morning, traders. I am Stephen Davis, Senior Market Strategist, RJO Futures. Friday morning here. Merry Christmas to all of us, and all of us travel safe here. And we're here to talk to you about the grain market. So, the corn market, you can see our chart of corn here today. This is the biggest drop, a weekly drop in corn, the way it stands right here in 3 months. So, a lot of traders want to know what happened to corn this week, and certainly ethanol is a demand sector that's not hitting at all here. And with the low price of corn, you think ethanol demand and ethanol production would be higher, and it's not. A lot of ethanol plants being shut down here in the Midwest, so that continues. Now, we did have export sales on corn this week and a marketing year high, so let's see if that can't continue going forward. Now, you can see our first chart of corn here. We're showing you we did gap higher, and now corn market going back and filling that gap, and corn is really good at doing this. So now the managed funds are long corn. They're probably going to stay long into the January crop report, so we'll see if corn doesn't find some interest, some buying interest down at these lower prices. Okay, the soybean market, our next chart of soybeans. See if you can see this now, 4 days of lower highs and lower lows, and we did have an announcement of Chinese purchases of U.S. soybeans, and this was the 9th biggest daily purchase of U.S. soybean in the history of our market. So interesting that we're not responding to this in a bullish fashion. There is talk now, China bought 1.2 million tons of U.S. soybeans. They're going to buy 2 million more tons of U.S. soybeans here before Christmas. Now the talk this morning is it's not going to happen today. It's going to happen early next week. We'll kind of see. I like January soybeans better, above $9 and then $9.06. So if we can get above those levels, technically that's pretty good. Okay, so protein of the world, that's what soybeans is. And you read about different populations of the world. China now has a middle class. Their diets are more like us. Protein is what every consumer in the world wants, and that's what soybean is. So we'll keep talking about that. Then overnight, the ASF, the Asian swine flu, another announcement of that. That's 90 cases here in China. It just points to the situation's getting worse, not better. This is not good for China and their population. They want food stability, food security. It does crimp soybean meal demand to feed all these hogs. So you can see soybean meal struggling in here. So a good story. It seems to be out of control here in China, and their economy's slowing, and we'll just see how all this affects the soy and the soybean meal, things like that. Okay, and then our next chart is wheat, and same chart like soybeans. You got 4 days of lower highs and lower lows in the wheat market. Now, Egypt bought wheat again this week from Romania and Russia. They tried to tender U.S. wheat, but the freight logistics was a little too expensive. So we continue to miss out on export sales in the wheat market, and we'll just kind of see here wheat in very good support, similar to the corn market. And you know, the CRB markets here, the CRB index under pressure, crude oil under pressure, and you're seeing a meltdown in the equity markets around the world, and this really weighs on commodities here. So as we move into Christmas next week, we've got our work cut out for us. Everybody have an excellent weekend.